Cowboys vs. Lions. 3 reasons why Dallas may be at a significant disadvantage in Week 6. The Dallas Cowboys managed to secure 2 rough road victories in back-to-back weeks and will return home to AT&T Stadium to face off against a really talented and gritty Detroit Lions team. This game is shaping up to be a grudge match after the way things played out between these two last year, but unfortunately it could possibly be a little one-sided. Heading into this Week 6 matchup with the Cowboys, it looks as if the Lions already have a significant advantage. Today, we are going to take a look at 3 reasons why Detroit may be favored to win this matchup. But, since there is no such thing as an easy victory in the NFL, the Cowboys will do their best to walk away the 3rd consecutive W. Reason number 1. Too many injuries. Jared Goff probably isn't too concerned about the Cowboys' pass rush this week with Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Marshawn Kneyland expected to miss this matchup. And the Lions' defense is probably looking forward to squaring off against the Cowboys' offense with W.R. Brandon Cooks out and with Tyler Guyton getting banged up last week. All in all, Dallas is the walking wounded right now, giving the Lions a significant advantage. Dallas by in Week 7 can't get here soon enough. Reason number 2, Detroit has had extra time to prepare. The Cowboys and Lions will enter this Week 6 matchup at opposite ends of the spectrum. The Cowboys are currently walking wounded with several key players injured and expected to miss this matchup, while the Lions will more than likely be well-rested/recuperated coming off their bye week. The extra time they've had to prepare for this matchup gives them an advantage over Dallas, a team who they are very motivated to extract a little bit of revenge against after the way things played out between the two last year. Reason number 3, home field advantage? Not this year. Home field advantage used to be a thing for the Cowboys in the past 2 years. They were nearly unstoppable at AT&T Stadium, but that hasn't been the case this year. They are currently 0-2 and have been completely embarrassed in front of their hometown fans by both the New Orleans Saints and Baltimore Ravens. Sadly, facing a team with extra time to rest and prepare for this matchup, and with all of the current injuries Dallas is coming with right now, another disappointing performance at home this week seems likely. Cowboys 3-time Pro Bowler dumbfounded by his lack of opportunities. Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott may be looking for a bigger role in the team's backfield. Elliott told Cowboys reporter Clarence Hill Jr. on Thursday that he had spoken privately with coaches about his backfield role recently. Hill added that Elliott is dumbfounded by his lack of usage as a goal line or red zone back in recent weeks. Elliott and Rico Dowdle had essentially been locked in a timeshare to start the season, but Dowdle has seen his role increase in the last few weeks. Dowdle is coming off his best game of the year against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 5, as he rushed 20 times for 87 yards in a 20-17 win. He also fumbled at the goal line, however, the exact sort of situation Elliott seemingly believes he should be getting looks in. Elliott has 30 carries on the season for 98 yards with a touchdown. He ran for 40 yards on 10 carries in the season opener and has not tallied 20 yards in a game since. The Cowboys pursued a reunion with Elliott in the offseason, but even when the year started, he was operating out of a backfield committee. Through 5 weeks, Dowdle has simply outperformed him. Pre-game shuffle Week 6, Cowboys vs. Lions. A team with as much history as the Cowboys has come to know several rivals throughout their existence. Divisional foes are obvious choices, as are the Cardinals that used to play in the same division until 2002. The 49ers, Packers, and even Rams have held periods of a rivalry due to the frequency of playoff matchups. And the Cowboys' most recent win, against the Steelers, used to be a rivalry solely because the teams met in the Super Bowl so often. Not many would agree with adding the Lions to the list, though that may soon be changing. Following a razor-thin victory in Pittsburgh, the Cowboys return home to AT&T Stadium, where they have yet to win this calendar year. They'll be taking on the Detroit Lions for the 3rd straight year and hoping for their 3rd straight win over the franchise. Normally, that would not be notable, as the Lions have historically been a bad franchise. But head coach Dan Campbell, a Texas native who played college ball for the Aggies and later mentored rookie Jason Witten for the Cowboys, has restored the roar in Detroit. His first season at the helm of the Lions saw the team go 3-13-1, but the Lions have done nothing but win since then. They were 9-8 in 2022 and broke into the playoffs last year, going 12-5 and losing a heartbreaker in overtime to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. So far this year, the Lions are 3-1 and coming off their bye week. They've looked uneven in each game, with the offense, particularly quarterback Jared Goff, struggling to score in the first 3 weeks before going off in Week 4 right when their defense surrendered over 20 points for the first time all year. Still, the Lions managed to win that game, beating the Seahawks for the first time in the Campbell era after losing to them in each of his first 3 seasons. The next item to check off the bucket list is beating the Cowboys. The first time Campbell led his team into the place where he grew up, it was Dak Prescott's first game back from injury in 2022. The upstart Lions kept things close at first, leading 6-3 at halftime. But Prescott and the offense woke up and scored 3 unanswered touchdowns to win 24-6. The next matchup came towards the end of the regular season last year. With 2 days left in the calendar year, these teams both had double-digit wins already and were on the verge of clinching their respective divisions. The game was billed as a potential NFC Championship game matchup, and it did not disappoint. With 23 seconds left in the game, the Lions scored a touchdown down 7. Rather than tying the game with an extra point, Campbell, who has earned a reputation as perhaps the most aggressive coach in the league, opted to go for 2 and the win. They ran a trick play and threw a successful pass to tackle Taylor Decker, but a penalty was called after Decker did not properly report as eligible. The Lions attempted another 2-point try, and Goff was intercepted. However, an offsides penalty on Dallas gave them one last shot. The Lions went for 2 a third time and failed to convert, this time with no flags. That sealed a 1-point loss and ignited controversy all throughout the league. Campbell and the Lions firmly believed that Decker had done his part to report as eligible on the initial 2-point try. Although the referees were audibly heard announcing Dan Skipper, not Decker, as the eligible player. It added further fuel to the fire for Lions fans, who still felt jilted from the 2014 wild card game and were gifted yet another reason to hate the Cowboys. Expect plenty of references to that game this week, though multiple Lions players have insisted they're focused on beating this year's Cowboys team and not relitigating last year's game. Oddsmakers think they're likely to do just that, too, as the Lions are currently favored by a field goal over the Cowboys. Much of that has to do with the Cowboys' struggles this year. They're 0-2 at home and have been outscored in 7 of 8 quarters in AT&T Stadium. There's also the fact that the Lions are, first and foremost, a team that likes to run the ball. They were 5th in yards per carry last year and are currently 10th this year. The Cowboys have struggled to stop the run in various games this year, which seemingly plays into the Lions' favor. Of course, the Lions' defense hasn't been the most impressive either under Campbell. Coordinated by another former Cowboy, Aaron Glenn, Detroit's defense has been in the bottom half of the league in DVOA each of the last 3 years. So far this year, they're 15th in DVOA, which would be a high mark for them if they remain there by season's end. This all sets up for what should be a very entertaining game. The Cowboys and Lions aren't division rivals, but they've faced each other enough in the last 3 years that they count as familiar opponents heading into this one. Detroit could prove themselves as the team to beat in a wide-open NFC, while the Cowboys would like to stack some wins after their early struggles. Both teams figure to have a good offensive showing given their defensive struggles, too. This could be on its way to a shootout, but even if the defenses show up for this game, expect things to be close. The recent history between these two should make for a rowdy environment, if nothing else.